Are you an artist that likes to draw intricate tiny details? Well, these two pens here are going to be a good option to start out with. I have here the Micron, which is the Pigma Micron 0.5, and then I have the Acurit 0.05 technical pens. These are both technical pens, and you can find these online from Amazon and a few other sites. I'll be leaving a link below the description of this video so you can find them. So the first thing I want to talk about is the price of them. These here you can get in a set of 12 in a box, and it costs between $10 to $12 usually. Well, $9 to $12 for a pack of 12 of these. And they come in different sizes, which would be the 0.05, the 0.1, the 0.2, the 0.3, 4, and 5. The Pigma Micron here, this one ranges from about $9 to $12, but there's only 6 in the pack, whereas this one here, the Acurit, there's 12. These both have permanent ink, and I don't know if this one's actually archival. It says non-fading, permanent, acid-free, but this one here does say it's archival, so it should be better quality ink in this one a little bit than what is in the Acurit technical pen, but I haven't noticed that much of a difference really as far as the ink staying on the paper long term. Although I haven't had this pen for very long, I've had the Acurit pen for about a year. So once my drawings get older, and I'll test and see if they faded any. But this pen here, the Micron 0.5, as I said, it ranges from about $9 to $12 for a pack of 6. This one is the 0.5. It has a larger nib than the other one. I had no way of comparing these two as far as nib sizes, because this one here is the 0.05 for the Acurit, and the Micron is the 0.5, so there's a bit of a size difference between these two. Now, as you can see here, the Acurit technical pen has a small window that you can see through. You can see the nib on the inside of the pen. As you can see there, they both come with a small clip at the end of it. This one, I think, has a bit of a sturdier clip than this one. This one's a little bit more flexible, as you can see when I bend it. More flex. This one doesn't have quite as much flex. It holds on a little bit more. And as you can see, I've had this one for quite a while. I've actually had this since 2012, and a lot of the writings faded off of it. But these two pens here, I've done a lot of really intricate doodles with them, and they both have, at the very top of it, if you can see it there, the nib size on the top of the cap for that one. This one does have it as well, but it's just worn off. So I have heard from some people, they say that the Microns run out of ink quickly. I haven't really noticed that with this. I've actually had this for a long time, and it still hasn't run out. The Acurit pens, they haven't really run out of ink that fast either. So yeah, I don't really know how to compare that, because I haven't had either of these pens run out of ink yet. And I don't know how, because I've had them for a long time. Well, I've had this one for a year, had this one for like 8 years. So, but anyways, they both got permanent ink. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare the writing experience on this piece of paper here. So what I have is just a really cheap paper, and I'm using a cheap paper because if it can work on cheap paper, then, well, it's probably going to work on just about anything. So we're going to test the pen to see how it does with feathering, and if there's any bleed through to the next page. One line. Now I'm going to fill in a larger area, see if it does any bleed through. Now let's go ahead and try the Acurit pen. Now this one has a smaller nib, so I will have to write more onto the paper to get the same effect. So there we go. Both of the lines don't have any feathering. As you can see here, the line from the Micron compared to the Acurit, the width is about double the width of the Acurit pen. So let's go ahead and check the other side of the paper and see if there's any bleed through. Tiny, just barely from the Acurit pen, but that might be because of the fact that the nib is smaller, and because it's a smaller point, it has a smaller point that's pressing onto the paper. So that's probably what's causing that there. Just a tiny little speck of ink. And as you can see on the other side, it's about the same, although it might be the reason why the Acurit pen is bleeding through a little bit more, because it's a smaller nib. If I had an Acurit pen that was the same size, then it might be a bit different of a result. So I will show you now what some of my drawings look like with each of these pens. This drawing here was done with the Acurit pen, and I did this doodle a couple of days ago, and I used a Sharpie to fill in these larger areas. It's just a fine point and an ultra fine point. So this is what it looks like with the Acurit pen, a drawing. Then let me find one with my Micron pen. I should have one in here somewhere. Yes, here's one. And here's a drawing with the Micron. As you can tell, the lines are a bit bigger, but if you have a bigger sketchbook, you might want to have bigger lines depending on how big you're drawing something. So, but just remember, the width of this pen, the Micron, probably double the width of the Acurit pen. So, as far as the bleeds of the paper and all that, I would say it's pretty much the same. I don't really notice much of a difference as far as that goes. The feathering, pretty much the same. Not much of a difference either. And the price for this pen here, the Acurit, is actually half the price of the Micron pens. But the Microns are a very popular pen that most artists have used for a lot of drawings. So if you're using the Micron, I'd say to stick with it. You're not really going to get much of a difference of experience by trying the Acurit pen. But if you want something that has more of a flexible clip on it and has a little window for the nib and a cheaper pen that is very much comparable to the Micron, I would go ahead and give the Acurit pen a try. Now, if you're already using the Acurit pen, go ahead and try the Micron and see how it works. I don't know if there's going to be that much of a difference, really. But if you think there's a difference, go ahead and let me know in the comments below and what reasons those are for those differences. So, another point, as I said, it was the clips. One's more flexible on this one's a bit sturdier. The clip on this is actually a little bit longer on the Acurit pen, maybe by a centimeter or two, not a whole lot. This one is archival ink, and it does not say on here if it is archival ink, but if it is, I will let you know in a comment below the video, letting you know about that. Yeah, this pen I've had since 2012, and this one I've had for about a year, and they both work perfectly fine for me as far as creating drawings. But I would say if you want something that's cheaper but works just as well, go with the Acurit pen. If you want a bit more of an expensive pen that's more name brand, go with the Micron pen. But either way, I think both of these pens will work great for you if you like to draw intricate little details and you like to doodle. But and for writing, I'll have to test these in another video to compare that. I myself, I don't do a lot of writing. I mean, I make poetry and everything, but I pretty much type it out on my computer. And so, as far as writing, I will have to compare that at another time. But go ahead and let me know in the comments below which of these pens you prefer and what those reasons are, and which pen do you have. And if you have any other pens you'd like me to compare or review, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. But until then, I will see you later, and you have fun creating. See ya.